Is it permissible to do yoga in Islam? Recently, I read somewhere that it is an act of Hindu worshipping. Is it true? Can you please explain? As far as yoga is concerned, if you go to its history, it originated somewhere close to 5,000 years before. It originated in 3000 BC, in the pre-Vedic age, in the Indus Valley civilization. And yoga, it is associated with physical, mental, as well as spiritual activities. And it is also mentioned later on in Hindu scriptures. It's mentioned in the Rig Veda, volume number 5, chapter number 81, verse number 1, the word yoga is mentioned in relation to the sun god. It's mentioned in the Upanishads, it's mentioned in the Hindu scriptures, it's mentioned in the Buddhist scriptures, including the Jain scriptures. And you'll find it's mentioned in the 5th and 6th century BC. And it was made more famous to the Western world in the 20th century by Swami Vivekananda. The word yoga means union. It means union with God. It also means union with spirit. There are various different meanings depending upon the context it occurs in, whether in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, in Bhagavad Gita. But it is for sure associated with Hinduism and also with Buddhism and Jainism. As far as whether yoga is permissible or not, there is one group of scholars who says that it's a form of exercise, and as long as you're concerned only with the exercise and not related with the religious aspect, it is permitted. There's another group of scholars who says that as long as you do not do anything haram which is not against the Sharia, yoga is permitted. But the majority of the scholars, they agree that yoga in any form, it is not permissible, it is haram. And if we analyze that yoga is associated with Hinduism, and as I mentioned, the meaning of yoga is union with God. And there are various different forms and asanas of yoga. One of the most famous is the Surya Namaskar, which is the salutation to sun god. So, but naturally, this is nothing but a form of idol worship. It's a form of worshipping a false god. I'm sorry. So many of the asanas and the practices of yoga, it is related with Hinduism and it leads to shirk. So based on this aspect, according to me, I do agree with the last group of scholars and the majority of scholars who say that yoga in any form, if a Muslim does, it is prohibited. It is not permissible for a Muslim to involve in any of the yoga practices. And if you analyze, the main goal of yoga is to attain moksha. It is to attain salvation. So since it is regarding Hinduism involving associating partners with God, which is shirk, it means attaining salvation. So according to me, yoga in any form, it is prohibited. Those Muslims who say it is permitted, they may not be aware of the teachings of Hinduism, they may not be aware of comparative religion, and in ignorance they may have been giving their view. But according to me, for a Muslim, doing yoga is prohibited. Hope that answers the question.